We are November 3rd. So today we are in the throes of chapter 10, which is making like official assembly drawings. And so the tutorials in here helped you build the 3D view of an assembly so that it balloons it, it shows it in its orientation, as well as creates the bill of material up in the corner. The second tutorial aids you in creating the template and the actual final assembly for a 2-view assembly. And then for your homework, you're then going to go to the end of the chapter, and I have 4 different assemblies for you to make those 2 versions of each one of those, okay? Now, what I have done is I know that through the tutorial process, sometimes if you skip a step or something's not quite right, it goes a little bit wonky. So I do need you to go through those tutorials, show me that you have your final results by doing your snapshots of the screen. But if you wanted to like get a fresh copy of what you know to be for sure, the LTC border that's going to work the way it's supposed to, I did put those out here in the learning plan, in the folder with the borders. So you will notice that if you go to learning plans, and there is the new logo, LTC drawing borders. If we click on there, the last 2 templates here, they're LTC, they're A-size borders, the template, and then it says ASSY for assemblies, and then it's got the 2-view there and the 3D view. So those would be the 2 borders for you to use for the last assignment. So again, there's 4 different assemblies there. It's the adjustable shaft support, the step shaft sub-assembly, the take-up piece, and then the take-up assembly in its final form is going to be then the last one, but you make 2 assemblies for each one of those. One is going to be the 2-view, kind of that classic view, and then the other one is going to be the 3D view, and then ballooned and all that kind of stuff. So if you're having just a little bit of trouble, or you don't trust yours, or you want to use the LTC ones here, feel free to grab those if you need to. All right, so they are the last 2 templates here. Now, as a reminder, some students have been kind of putting things in different folders inside of their working directory. You can't do that and expect things to work together the way they're supposed to. All of the files have to be in one directory. So you can't have a directory for the drawing borders, and you can't have a directory for this assembly and then the parts in another assembly, even if they're in the working drawing or the working directory, the big working directory. You can't have subdirectories in there, okay? All of the files have to be there. So if you want to separate it out like that, what you end up having to do is, if you have to create one working directory for that full assembly. So the assembly files, the detail files, the format file for the templates, and then the template files all have to be in that one directory. Okay, so again, you can't have one working directory with subfolders in them of those different elements. Everything has to be in one directory. That's why at the very beginning of the semester, and I know it's been a while, I just said, just create one working directory and don't try to like organize stuff. It's just all going to be in that same place, because Creo just it doesn't think like we do. it doesn't do the directory stuff like we're normally used to. So everything has to be in that working directory. So that's number 1. So if you are subcategorizing or putting folders, stop doing that. Put it all kind of in like one bin. And I know it's a headache to maneuver around, but it will save you time. You probably noticed as we've been putting like, for instance, 7s or Gs or the LTC A and B and stuff like that, then they clump together. So if you wanted to save something and put like a letter in front of it, or start it off with, you know, a number, so that all of those files are in the same place in the actual working directory, so you can find them more easily, go ahead and do that. I mean, that might be one way to kind of get them grouped, but don't subfolder things. You'll also notice as you're working on things in those directories, it saves a new copy all the time. So you might have like 6 copies of the same drawing, and that's going to be reflective of how many times you saved as you created that assembly, that part, or the drawing. So what you need to do is, as you exit and you know that you're done, you want to delete all the copies of that, and then it'll delete the directory, it'll clean those up. But if you don't do that, you're going to have to go back and delete those all out. And what you want to do is probably save the one that was the last one that you saved. So you got to kind of look at the time and the date for that. So just some kind of hints about directory stuff there in Creo. If you do have more questions about that, let me know, and I can go into more detail. But hopefully that kind of helps, because I noticed when I was going around and talking to students and seeing what they had in the lab, they had those subfolders. So we want to not do that. Everything has to be in the same directory, working directory. Okay, so if you need to download any here and you need fresh copies, just make sure that you grab the format, the corresponding format, and the template. They both have to be in the same working directory, All right, so let's go to our calendar, course calendar to start off with. So today there's nothing due. Yesterday the tutorials were due. If you need a little bit of extra time, just let me know about that. And the tutorials, again, are working through creating first the format or the templates for each one of the assemblies so that it creates the bill of material and the type of view that we want on it. So you're going to do a 3D view on one of them, and then you're going to do a 2 view on the other. Okay. Now, just so that you know, I am not crazy, and I'm not going to focus on exploded assemblies. They just they're for parts manuals. I'm gonna say that they're not what you're going to actually send to the shop floor. We can do a 3D view, but all the parts need to be together, the way that they're going to be assembled, and how they're actually going to kind of work together in their final form. And we're going to do 2 and 3 view, potentially 3 view. 2 in an assembly is usually enough. 2 view assemblies, because those are going to be the ones that we're going to encounter most often when you are out in industry. Again, the explodeds are nice for parts manuals, okay? So you may be called on to create some of those, but the regular assemblies that are going to be created for the people on the shop floor to put things together and assemble things is not going to be the exploded view, okay? Most often. Companies can have their own way of doing things, certainly, but we want to make sure that we do it kind of in that standard manufacturing mode. So we're going to focus on those 2 types. Now, what I wanted to do today, yesterday we did a demo on creating the 2 view assembly. That's usually the harder one. The 3D isn't bad, okay? The 3D isn't bad, but and it's just a matter of like moving balloons around and getting rid of some of the planes that are maybe visible. But the 2D tends to be the little bit more challenging one, because there's center lines and hatching and putting a section view in there that the book just doesn't do a great job of showing. So yesterday I went over the 2 view assembly drawing for the adjustable shaft support, okay? And then you would need to do an unexploded 3D view of it. So that's going to be using that second border that was in there. Now I'm going to be looking at our next assembly, which is the step shaft subassembly, and we're going to look at doing the 2 view subassembly of that. Okay, 2 view subassembly of that. So I am going to go over to my Creo session. Okay, my Creo session. Now I'm forgetting if I set up my working directory, so I'm going to check. Working directory, I am in my working directory, so I'm all good. So even though we are starting fresh and we're going to be going and pulling parts in, you always have to set up that working directory, no matter if you're going to open a drawing or if you're going to be doing something else. Always do that very top of every one of the sessions that you do. And then I'm going to start new here, and I'm going to create a drawing. Okay, now I'm going to call this step, oopsie, all caps, shaft sub assembly. Okay, and common name is good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to go to the step shaft assembly that I created. Step shaft assembly, where are you? Here, I have 2 of them, and I'm going to use the first one where assembly is written out. I'm pretty sure that's the one I want. Okay, and then for template, I want to browse to where my working directory is. It goes there, and I'm going to browse the template that I want, and I am going to use the template assembly ASSY 2 view. This is the one that I have in the Blackboard directory, or the Blackboard folder so that you can download these, okay? And these are gonna have the newest LTC logo. I'm gonna do open, and I'm gonna do okay. All right, so everything is here. Now, first things first, this is kind of small, okay, kind of small. So I'm gonna go down here to the lower left-hand corner. I'm gonna double click on that, and now I can set the scale. Right now it's 1/3 scale, so 0.333. I found that if I change this to 0.75, enter, that's like a nice size, okay? That's a nice size for this. So I kind of played around with half and then 1, but 0.75 right in between those two is like perfect. Now I also want to get rid of seeing all these planes in here, right? So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to select all and I'm going to turn them all off. So it cleans it up really nicely, okay? Now before I worry about balloons, I want to put my section in, okay? Because I can't, you know, legally balloon that key, number 2, the way that it is right now, because right now it's hidden. Now you'll notice that my my set screws are not in here. I'm sorry, I did this one really quickly and I forgot to put them in there. You need to put the 2 set screws in. There's going to be an item probably number 4, and so I don't want you to think that you can do it without the set screws. I just when I pulled this up and I've been playing with it and I'm looking at it right now, I realize I don't have them in. So you do need that 4th item, which is going to be your set screw. So that's part of this. I'll fix mine and make sure that I get it in there. But for right now, for our demo, I'm not going to have them in. Okay, so I've got my 3 parts here. I'm gonna move those balloons in a little bit, but I do want to create my section view first. Now, when I do a section view, I have to actually have a datum plane in the assembly before I pull it in. And it's not too bad because we have parametric software. I can actually add it in the assembly, you know, after the fact. So for instance, if I go in here and I click on here and I want to, you know, edit the properties of that view, I'm going to go to sections. I'm going to go to 2D. I'm going to plus open here. Now I have other ones in there. Don't worry about it. I want to create new. I want to create a new. Section view, and it's going to be a plane. So I'm just going to hit done, plain single done. Okay, and I'm going to call it D. Enter. And I need to then pick one of these planes, and the most likely one would be a right side plane. But you'll notice that it just doesn't like, or it found the plane here, right? But that's not the one I want. Sorry. Let me do top, no, and then it's going to be front. But the front is offset. It's not in the right spot. Okay, it's not in the right spot. So I could go down into some of these, and if this works now, I'm going to be really mad. If I go down into the side view here, this one is going through. It's going to work. And I hit OK. My section view kind of goes away here. This is what happened to me earlier. So I can't use the actual planes that are there for right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to look at the section view here, and I'm going to like, yeah, set an X here. It doesn't like it, and I'm going to minus that out. And is it going to let me get rid of it? It's not. So sassy. Okay, so let me get rid of. I want to see if I can get rid of. Delete. No, not that. No, it's not letting me really do anything with it. So if I want to do this, yeah. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start over. And before I do that, I'm going to go back to my assembly and I'm going to create a datum plane in there. Okay. I've been mentioning this to some students. Sometimes with Creo, I don't know what it is. I get a little frustrated with it. I'm gonna close this out, and when I close it out, I'm also going to manage the files, and I'm going to delete all the old versions. Okay, and then I'm also going to go in here and manage the session and erase undisplayed. And there's going to be stuff in here because it pulled in that assembly. So I'm going to hit OK. Now it's a fresh copy, like I opened up fresh. My working directory, I'm just going to make sure it's still there. Yep, it's in the same spot, so that's okay. So I'm going to open up that step shaft assembly. And gosh, I've been playing with this and going around and around with it, but still it's a frustrating thing to me. Okay, So here's my full assembly right now. And my full assembly. And if I go to my pulley, okay, I go to my pulley, and I'm gonna, because that's where I want to kind of determine like where my lanes are going to go through. So I want to figure out the one that's going to actually cut through the middle here. So if I look at the side one, okay, that's going to be one that cuts through like where I actually want to look at. So it would cut in this section right here, and then the side view or the front view is going to be looking this way. So the side is the one that I do want to create here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a brand new datum plane. So I'm going to go up here to plane, and I have that side view selected. Okay, that side view selected. And what it wants to know is, okay, we want to create a datum plane. Do you want it offset from the one that you just selected? Okay, I don't. I actually want it to go through it. So I can't pick the actual side view, right? And it's not going to make me a nice view. So I got to create a datum plane going through that very same one. So I'm going to say, okay. And now you'll notice that it added for me an ADTM. So that's a datum plane A number 3, because I've put a couple of them on here. Now, what I'm going to do is, I did this before. I hope it's going to work for me. I'm going to actually move this. It's not going to let me. Hey, it's sassy, so we'll see if I can use it. So if I go File, Save, I got to make sure that I save it in this assembly. Should be good, all right? Now when I go to create a new drawing for same assembly, step shaft is up there, and I'm going to go to my 2D assembly view. Okay, it's going to pull it up. And you'll notice that now I have these items in here, so that looks okay, but I'm going to change my scale to 0.75, make that bigger. Okay, so that's all good. Worry about placement of those balloons in just a bit. I want to do this cross section. So now I'm going to click on this cross section. You can double click and it's going to go right into here. So here's my section 2D, and I'm going to add one in. And I'm going to say, I want to create new. And then this little thing is going to be down here. I want it on planar, and I want it single. So I'm going to hit done. And I'm going to call it C, which is a new letter for in here. So I'm going to say, okay, hit the button. Now it says, okay, I want to set up that plane. So what plane do you want? We go over here to my model tree, and it was ADT3, this one right here. Okay, now notice I had to click on it twice, and then it became green. Okay, and then I'm gonna hit OK, and it sections then this side for me. Okay, because I picked the section view here, but my plane was going straight through here. All right, let's not worry about the sections lines just yet. I'm gonna first put my arrow in my right side view. So now I'm gonna go over here. I'm on layout. And you'll notice that I have arrows here. So I need to hit the arrows for that section, and I'm going to click on the view that I want the arrows in, and it puts them in for me. Okay. Now, if for some reason it goes in the wrong view for you, all you got to do is like select it like this and hit the delete key, and you can get rid of it and redo it, and then click the right place. Okay. Sometimes it's just a matter of what does Creo want? What does Creo want? And once you can like read its mind, then it's not too bad. But it takes time. So now you want to select some of these things and we want to move them around. Let's look though, before we worry too much about the balloons and such, let's look at the way that this is sectioned. Okay, the way that this is sectioned. As we know, when we have longer shafts like this, we usually don't section the shaft, right, along its length. We actually leave it like regular. In addition, the most internal piece, like a key, does not get sectioned either, okay? So these two, we actually have to take the sectioning off per kind of the rules of dimensioning, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna double click on this, and a menu is gonna come up. So I double clicked on that, and menu comes up. And the menu is all about modifying the cross-hatching, okay? Modifying the cross-hatching. Now, what I need to do is I need to pick the shaft, okay? I need to pick the shaft. So I'm going to do pick, and then it says select one or more items. Now, I can do the shaft and the key at the same time. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to pick the shaft. Now, the one that I'm over the top of, notice that it turns red on its perimeter. So once I have that one, I'm going to click it, okay? And then it becomes like green. Now I'm going to hit the control. I'm going to hold the control, and I'm going to do the same thing for, I'm just over the top of it. I didn't click yet, but now the key is going to be red, and I want to click on that, okay? Because those two, I want to not have cross-hatching in. So then I'm just going to hit OK on this little menu right here. This guy right here, I'm going to hit OK because I've selected all that I wanted to. And now I get to say what I want to do with it. I want to go down here and erase the section lines out of there, and it took them away. Now, if it didn't select the ones that you wanted, then just go back to show, okay? So there's erase, and then show is right there. So if you selected the wrong thing or too many things got selected, then you want to put show back on and then start over. So I'm just going to hit done here, and now that is, that's good. But I'm not crazy about the angle and the spacing of the cross hatching that's on my pulley, okay? So I'm gonna double click on that pulley section. So this menu is gonna come back up. I could have then done it right away before I hit done, but I didn't. But now I wanna work on this. So this one, what I wanna do is I wanna look at the cross hatching pattern here. So I'm gonna first pick, and I'm gonna pick the pulley, and it's there, okay? And then I'm gonna hit this little guy right here that's down in that corner. It's okay. Now what I want to do is I want to look at the angle, all right? I actually want this to be steeper, okay? More at probably I'm going to try a 45-degree angle. So when I do angle, notice that this expanded out at the bottom, and I'm going to pick 45 degrees. And I like that angle better for the shape that I have. So I'm going to like that. But then I'm also going to click the offset. And I'm just going to hit OK. I'm actually going to also select, not that one. It was a spacing. I'm so sorry. It's the spacing. The spacing for that, I think I've got to go back and I've got to pick this guy. Then I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to do spacing. I'm sorry, it's spacing. So I want to make that closer together. So down here, it says you can half, double, or put a value in. So I'm going to click half to kind of see what it looks like. And I like that better. Okay. So I do like the half. And then once I'm done, all I got to do is hit done, which is kind of in the middle here. So watch those menus. They're not the easiest to navigate. So now I have my hatching the way I want it, but I can see that that kind of grayed out, shadowy thing, that's going to be like hidden lines. Okay. So if I right now go into, and I just want to preview what this looks like. File, I'm going to go to print, and I'm going to preview right here. All right. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and it does the whole thing. Notice that it has the hidden lines in a section view. We know that that's not legal. So we got to get rid of those section views. I'm going to show you how to, the hidden lines in the section view. And also, since this is an assembly, you can put hidden lines in, but because we have the section view, we really don't need them, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the hidden lines in both of those views. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to close the print setup, and it gets back to my normal menu. And I'm going to double click and get back to my drawing view. So I'm right now in my section view, and I'm going to go to view display. And right now it says that I can put it wants to put the hidden lines in. So I'm going to arrow down here, and I'm going to put no hidden. Okay, no hidden. And then I'm just going to hit apply, and now it looks like more regular. I got to put center lines in, but it looks more like a regular section view, okay? So I'm just gonna hit okay. Now I'm gonna do the same thing over on, I'm gonna double click on my right side view here, go to view display, and I'm going to take the hidden off of here as well, and I'm gonna hit apply, and I'm gonna look at it. Yeah, that looks much better, Okay, and now I can hit okay. All right, sometimes hidden lines are nice in an assembly view, if there aren't too many, or if you don't have a section, then they're kind of nice because you can see what's going on. But in this case, since we have the section, we really don't need them. And I think it cleans it up and makes it look better. Okay, so now we have our stuff in a nice sectioned view. Now we just have to put kind of the last details on it. So first things first, let's get center lines in. That's another thing that students have been I'm struggling with, right? And getting them to do. So I'm going to show you how to put them in. You need to go up to the annotate tab on the top, select the view that you want to put center lines in, and you're going to say show model annotations, okay? I'm going to pull this over here. I want to go all the way to the right side, okay? I don't want dimensions, I want to put center lines in, okay? Now it's going to look and it's going to say all, but what you have to do is you have to kind of select the item, and you'll notice that, oh, it put a nice center line in for me. And there's actually two of them. There's one here, okay? So when I click on this and I say show, you have to do the show. If you go somewhere else, you say, oh, okay, I'm good, and you hit cancel here, they'll disappear once that menu goes away. So you actually have to put show, and then that's going to be the black one that just appeared. So this one is still red, and I got to show that one as well. I'm sorry, apply, and then I've got to click, and I've got to on the show, and I've got to put it there as well. Okay, so now that's there. Now I can click on another element, and so I want to put the center line in this set screw hole. Okay, so that's right there. So the one that I got to figure out which one it is going to be. It's the A5. If I hover over the top of it, I can see which one it is. So the only one that I want to show here is the A5. And now notice that it turned black. The other one is in the background, so I don't see that one. So I'm going to hit apply, and then I'm going to hit cancel. And now you don't see that hole because it's actually a hidden hole, and we said we don't want the hidden lines in there. So so the only center line I wanted was right there in that view. So now I've got the center lines over here. That looks good. I'm going to go over to the right side view, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on this, show model annotations, go on the center lines, and now I've got to click on the items that I want to show the center lines for. Okay, so I'm going to click on that outside diameter, okay, and then here's the center line, and I'm going to say show, and I'm going to say apply, okay, and there we go, and then cancel. Now, we do have a center line going over that cutting plane line, so I'm just not going to worry about it for this. In AutoCAD, you would kind of get rid of those lines and give the precedence to the cutting plane line, but I'm going to be honest, I don't know exactly where to do that in Creo, and I'm not going to say that it's a huge deal. Okay, so we're good the way this is. So if you want to investigate that and figure out how to get rid of those, I'm open for you to tell me, and then I can add it in. But for right now, we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to put this center line over the cutting plane line and call it okay. Now I want to move my balloons so that they look a little bit nicer. So so I'm actually going to move my number 1. I'm going to actually put it up over here. Okay, move my number 2 over a little bit. Kind of pull this down, and then I'm going to put my number 3. Oopsie. Get my little, there we go, get number 3 over here. Okay, now the only thing I need to do is I need to adjust the attachment where the arrowhead is. So you'll notice that I have number 3 selected right now, so I'm going to just hit my right mouse button. Now, right now, the thinner menu came up. This one's not going to stick if we do this. Even though it says edit attachment, it's not going to work. I don't know why, but why it does that. So what I usually do is I go to a different one then first. And what I need to do is I need to get the wider menu, okay? This is the edit attachment that's going to actually work, and then it also pulls up this second little menu here. So I'm going to change where it's going to go, and I'm just going to slide it over here a little bit, and I'm going to call it done, okay? Then I'm going to do the number 3 again. I'm going to go back over here. I have it selected, it's green, and I'm going to notice that I get the wider one, so I know that that one's going to work, and it's going to come up with the second menu. And I'm going to actually attach it like right there. That looks good. And I'm going to hit done. And then I'm going to do the last thing with number 1. And yep, I've got the thin one. I don't like it. So I'm going to try again. Thin one again. So I'm going to select over here. I'm going to go back over here. And this is the joy that I have been experiencing with Creo. I'm doing it the same. Okay, I'm going to try one more time. It's got to work this time. There it is. There's the wider one. All right, my little menu comes up, and I am just going to select somewhere along here. That looks good, and I'm going to say done. Done. Okay, so now they're in a good place. Now, what you can do at this point is there is a clean up dimensions. So if you want to clean up your dimensions here and go like that, not the one? No, I thought it was clean up balloons. Am I not seeing it? Maybe it's on layout. layout, and it is in layout. Go back to, now I'm mad at myself. Annotate, is it in here? Is it in here? Coordinate. Maybe it is the cleanup dimensions. I think it is cleanup dimensions. And no, it's not. Well, so glad I said that. What's something with like cleanup balloons? If I go back to layout here, am I not seeing it? I'm so sorry. Shouldn't have said anything because I haven't been doing it. As long as you put them where they need to go. Oh, here it is. I think it's in here. No, it's not. No, it's not. Merge balloons, create reference balloons. No, no, no. Balloons. Create. No. All right. Well, I'm going to have to find where that is. I don't think it's a huge deal. In here as a right click. Clean up balloons. There it is. It's the right click when you have that view selected. All right, and I'm just going to hit clean up balloons, and I'm just going to hit OK, and then they're going to kind of, you know, put where they think. Sometimes they do a nice job of kind of aligning everything, and sometimes they don't. I don't like what they did, so I'm going to put it back, and oh, they moved my attachment for number 3. Dang it. Okay. It's fine the where it's at. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so you can do clean up balloons if you want, but actually I'm kind of like not liking what they did anyway. So that's a choice. That's a choice. Sometimes when you have a bunch of them that are aligned, it'll put it all in a nice line for you, and then that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, so at this point, I think I'm pretty set as far as my final assembly. So again, you got to play around sometimes to get things to work exactly right. If you want to do a double check on exactly what it looks like, and actually when you do the print preview, I would like you to do this. I'm going to say, yeah, we're going to do this. So I'm going to go to File, Print, and then what I want to do is I got to do a full plot here, and I'm going to hit Preview. And I just have to zoom in and out a little bit here, and it'll make it like nice for me, okay? It'll go all the way around the border. This is what I want for you to actually do your screenshot on, okay? So we're gonna hit the Windows Shift S, and we're going to then go and drag upper left, lower right, and release, and this is what you're going to insert or paste into a document, okay? And remember, each one of these are going to be on one document, so whether it's Word or Google Docs, you're gonna then take this, and that's gonna be your upload file. That's gonna be your upload file, all right? So, yeah, so that's the two view. Any questions right now? Any questions right now? I know we hit a couple little bumps, but we worked through it. Okay. Let's look. I'm gonna close out my print setup. Let's look at another drawing. Okay, let's look at the 3D view of this very same one. So if I want to create the 3D assembly, all right. So if I go File and I want to do New, and I'm going to create a new drawing. This one is going to be the step shaft. It's going to be the step shaft sub assembly. And I'm going to do 3D view. So I'm going to hit OK. And this time I got the step shaft assembly already selected here. I'm going to browse, but I'm going to do the 3D view. And I'm going to hit Open and OK. All right, now I get this. All right, and the reason I get this is because it's looking for a view called 3D view in that assembly. So if you don't have a 3D view, actually saved as a view, then you have to go and you have to do that. So I'm going to close this. And I'm going to actually close this because I'm going to have to reopen it anyway. So I'm going to go into File, Open, and I'm going to go into my step shaft assembly. Okay, my step shaft assembly. I'm going to go Open, And now this is where I'm going to orient this in a way that is going to give me a nice kind of view of everything, okay? So if I look at the front here, and I'm going to go this way, this kind of gives me a pretty good 3D view of the key, the shaft, and the pulley, all right? Now I know that there's set screws in there, all right? And those are going to actually come, I think, on the back side, but you could maybe even maneuver this a little bit like this so that you could see them all in one view, So you want to play around with that. And once you get it where you believe you can do everything that you want to, okay? When you get there, then what you're going to do is you're going to go up to Manage Views on the very top here. You're going to click on that. And then you're going to go to the Orient tab, and you're going to say, I want a new one. So you're going to click New right here. And now you can call this 3D View. That's what we're going to call it, because that's the view that it's looking for when we set up that border. And then I'm going to hit Enter, and now it's a view here. All right, and I'm going to hit Close. So if I want to see if it took, before I go out of here, if I go over this one, there's the standard orientation, the default, and then here's my 3D view. So if I go to standard, for instance, there it is. And then if I go to 3D view, there it is. Okay, there it is. Now, what I want to do is I have to save this. So now it's part of the assembly, So I am going to do a new drawing, step, shaft, sub, ASSY, 3D view, okay? Yes, it failed, it's in use. Oh, because I didn't close it out. Hold on. Yeah, I called this one. I might need to close out. I'm going to close out. File, save, just make sure I have it. I'm going to close, and I'm going to say yes. Okay, go back into Creo. Sometimes it is good to start over fresh, right? So we'll have to set up our working directory, kind of go back in, and that's okay. There, select my working directory. I'm on my Creo 1. Okay. And now I'm going to do new drawing, step, shaft, sub-assembly, 3D view. Right. Then I'm going to select my 3D view assembly, which is that one right there. Okay. So LTCA template 3D view, open. And now, I need to browse to my step shaft assembly. Okay. And okay. There it is. Okay, I didn't get that error this time because I had a view that was saved as 3D, the 3D view. Now it's kind of small again, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my scale. I'm going to double click on my scale. I'm going to say 0.75. That's much better. Okay. Now if I want to move this, I can, but I have to kind of unlock it. And then now, no, I don't want to do it. I'm going to go off, go on. Now, I love Creo. I just love it. I got to remind myself. I love it. Now, see, now I can move it. I'm doing it. I'm doing exactly what I did before. So whatever. Creo, I'm going to get rid of all my planes, get those out of the way. Now it's a nice cleaned up view. And then in here, I can move my balloons around so that they're just in nicer places. And I'm not going to do the cleanup balloon one because I don't like how they cleaned it up before. And then here is going to be my key. That one, I probably want to move the edit attachment on it. No. There we go. It's the wide one. Good. Then I'm going to actually put it right on the corner here. And done. All right, that looks pretty good. And then I've got my 1, 2, 3. Remember, you would have a 4th with the set screw. But again, I'm not going to worry about it. Don't have to worry about any center lines here. There's no hidden lines. So this is our 3D view. So then you can just go ahead and you can go to File, Print, let's do a preview. Just zoom in and out a little bit and you'll get your edges, okay, and kind of scooch it down. And then do your Windows Shift S, and here is your 3D view to go around, and I'm dragging until I get to the lower right hand corner. And now I can import it, put it on my, if you would, my desktop, I think it's called, or whatever, not really my desktop. But then now I can, my clipboard, now I can actually paste it into a document and then add my next one, okay? Any questions? It's so fun. All right, so this is our second assembly, both demos. So tomorrow, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna demo the last two, the take-up piece and the take-up assembly, all right, which are our last two that are in here. So you've got a little bit of demo on each one of these. After about the second one of those two views, you start getting into a groove and kind of knowing how to do them. So, so don't wait till the last minute on these, because those first one or two might take a little bit of time to work through and get everything in place, center lines, sections, the plane to section, and making sure that it takes. And it's a little bit of playing around, but then once you get the hang of that, then all of a sudden the last ones go actually pretty quick. So I know there's quite a few there to do, but I promise you it is going to go faster each and every one that you do. That's why we're doing the practice. Okay, so we're doing 4 of each, so a total of 8 different assemblies, but 4 assemblies, 2 different formats on each. Okay, for those who are on, I'm going to stop sharing my screen really quickly. Luke and Jonah, do you guys have any questions at all before I let you go? Nope. Okay. All right. So, so you're my only customers today. There's nobody in the room. So what I'm going to do is I will, I'll let you guys go. And then if you have any questions in the meantime, please let me know. Otherwise, tomorrow I'll be back here doing a couple more demos. Okay. Have a great day.